As Phil said, my name is Kane Kaiser. I am 15 years old and I stay at the Dakota Boys Girls Ranch in Bismarck for 4.5 months. And to tell you the truth, I was counting the days. 141 days. I had a whiteboard in my room that I had to tally down each and every day. I was at the ranch from March 30th, 2016 to August 17th, 2016, and I'm featured in the Ranch Voice 2017 winter issue, and that's the most recent one. Now I'm going to tell you about my experience at Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch. The experience of the Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch from my point of view was interesting. Like I said, I stayed for 141 days from end of March to middle of August 2016. My parents, Don and Kevin Kaiser, sent me to the ranch after I got violent with them. First, I went to Trinity Hospital in Minot on February 19th, 2016, which is my dad's birthday. I had a spelling bee and I was a finalist in the oral round and I was in 6th place. And that was the 4th year in a row that I was a finalist at the Mercer County Spelling Bee in Beulah, which is about an hour and a half or so from the ranch. Which an hour and 45 minutes from the ranch or so. Then I stayed at Trinity Hospital for mental health, where I stayed for about 12 days. I got up on March 3rd, 2016. The average person stays there for about 3 to 5 days, but anyway, I stayed for 12. Then on March 30th, 2016, I moved to the Dakota Boys and Girls Ranch. While I was at Trinity, I met a new friend by the initials of JT, and I can't use first or last name for confidential reasons. But anyway, when I walked through the door to the DBGR cottage, guess who I saw in one of the pods? It was JT. I was happy to see that I knew someone familiar to the ranch to show me the ropes. By the way, the cottage is what they call the living area, and pods are separate areas where the bedrooms are. The Bismarck campus has 4 pods and a total of 16 bedrooms. So when I moved into the ranch, I remember that I started out in room number 12. I can't believe I remember that. Room number 12 was in pod 3, when we had these people we call our primaries, which help you out with music lists for your iPods, and which I will get to later. In my room, I kept putting tally marks on my whiteboard for counting how many days I was at the ranch. My room was nice and neat, and I always kept it very neat and organized. Whenever they said, clean your room, they didn't even have to ask me, because my room was nice and tidy. No, there were no clothes all over the floor, no mess in my room, nothing. I kept it spick and span. Nice and spiffy. While I was at the ranch, we had daily chores that we had to do. I was probably the best at vacuuming, and I can't say that I enjoy vacuuming, but it has to get done. Along with our chores, we had a thing called deep clean, which we cleaned and sprayed down our rooms every Saturday morning after breakfast. I hated deep clean, but you know what? Got it done and over with every day. Or every Saturday, that is. But the thing I didn't like about the deep clean was taking all the stuff off my shelves to spray down and then putting them all back up again. But it was no big deal. Our primaries, which I told you about, had to inventory our things that we brought with us from home so nothing got lost. One of the things I had a primary inventory was a game called a Bop It. In case some of you don't know, a Bop It is like this handheld game that has little knobs and stuff on it, and when it calls out to a command like bop it, twist it, pull it, you have to activate that knob or button or whatever you want to call it. There are gadgets on Bop It games that when it tells you to do something, you have to activate that gadget. It's kind of like a Simon Says. It says something, you do something back. It's that simple. Anyway, our primaries had to inventory a lot of stuff. And there was this one staff who was now actually a residential supervisor, actually likes Star Wars and Bop It like I do, but to tell you the truth, I like them and know more about them than she does. Thanks to Wikipedia. Now, I'm going to talk to you guys about the iPods. First of all, a show of hands, who knows what an iPod is? Okay, I see a majority of you. For those who don't, an iPod is like a little MP3 player. It's a little music player that you can store songs on. You can ask your primary for a music list to put songs on your iPod, and they will approve the songs that are appropriate. I don't think I've had one song that was not approved. Then another staff will put those songs on your iPod. The other staff works with recreation and fit rec and stuff like that, and I will get to recreation a little bit later. I probably started out with like 20 songs that I could think of. The only times you couldn't listen to your music on your iPod is meal times, during group times, and you used to be able to listen to them at school, but they became too much of a distraction, so they took that privilege away. Now let me talk to you guys about school. Dakota Memorial School is in the basement of the Dakota Boys Girls Ranch. Dakota Memorial School was interesting as well. They had nice teachers, a nice principal. The students/residents were nice too. Like I said before, the ranch and school can hold up to 16 residents who live at the ranch, and the school can hold up to 12 day students. And I am currently a day student at Dakota Memorial. I started going to school when I was a resident on March 31st, 2016. Jenny Jesse, the Dean of Students at DMS, was really nice in helping me through my problems at school if I ever had any. Both the DBGR staff and the school staff helped me through thick and thin. During the summer when we didn't have school, we had this thing called summer programming. Summer programming has gardening and cooking and independent living classes. I guess I shouldn't say classes, but you know what I mean. If you didn't participate in the summer programming, you didn't have privileges. And privileges include fun stuff and media time, where you can watch TV or play video games for a certain amount of time during the day or in the evening. We had regular programming and rec, which is like sports and exercising and stuff like that. They also had this thing called TBA, or to be announced. TBA is on the weekends, usually including bowling, the movies, zoo, etc. For programming, we also go to the BSC Aquatic Center, that's part of Bismarck State College, and the YMCA. On Sundays, we can go shopping for things at the mall or where everyone wants to go. You get an allowance of $10 every week to go shopping with. 8 of those $10 are for spending, and the other $2 are for savings. Also on Sunday nights, you can go to the DBGR store, where you can buy snacks and stuff for a Sunday movie. They have DVDs, and sometimes they rent movies, and you can watch them on the big TVs they have. You can use these things called DBGR bucks, and they are earned when you do something exceptional or be nice and helpful to staff and residents. I usually bought these peanut butter bites and a root beer, whenever they had them. You can also buy magnets, lotion, and other things for your room. The snacks that you don't eat go into your contraband, and that is this drawer where you can put extra things that you can't have in your room. Your contraband is selected by your room number. Cool, right? On the weekends, they have a thing they call Resident's Choice, where if they draw your room number, they have like these popsicle sticks that are colored, and they have your room number on the top. And if they draw your room number, you can pick what you guys get to do, whether it's media time, if you go to the gym, etc., etc. Then they have a thing called student government, where you can address issues, what we have for a lunch and dinner menu, and what we do for programming. You can be a part of the student government if you're a certain phase. A phase is a stage of your treatment plan which gets you closest to discharge. There are 4 phases, and if you get to a phase 3 at discharge, you can buy your iPod for $20. And if you discharge at phase 4, guess what? You can keep it for free. Yeah. The residents in the ranch can have visitors and phone calls to friends and family. My parents, Dawn and Kevin, they visited me every single day. They drove all the way there to Bismarck and all the way back home again. And they came every day except one day in May when I had a few issues. My parents care about me that much. Some of the residents have no home or parents, like I can think of one by the initials of HO. So since they have no home or parents or both, so my parents volunteered to do cool stuff with them. We also had my dog Alex visit at the ranch sometimes, and he's a therapy dog and my very best friend. Along with the DVGR box, you can have rewards at the reward bin, where it's the back office, where staff meets up for what they call shift change, and that's where the residential supervisors work. One more thing, after school and after meals, we have this thing called quiet time. That's when the staff meets up for shift change, and we stay in our room for about 20 minutes to a half hour. And it's kind of boring, but I have to get used to it. So, to make a long story short, I discharged on August 17th, 2016 at a phase 4, and I brought more stuff home than I moved in with. Yes, I brought home lots of stuff, and today I'm still a day student at Dakota Memorial School. Any questions? Thanks, you guys. Have a great day.